Welcome to the Ready Writers, where words are the opportunity to create a possibility. And we, as authors of this new time and this new millennium, we go global. Today, we have with us a dynamic woman of God, Shana Gourdine. Welcome, Shana. How are you?
I am awesome and blessed.
Listen, I am so excited. Before we say anything, I just want to tell you, I love your covers. Oh my God, do they speak?
You.
I see them in the background. Listen, tell us a little bit about the cover before you tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, the first cover, I knew when I put it together, I had to get the interest of the person's eyesight because a lot of people read with their eyes before they read with their minds. And I
Yes.
needed something that was going to catch you. And my title was already catchy, The Mask Behind the Mask. So I definitely needed somebody that had a face, but then had the mask on top of it, of the reasons of what we cover behind ourselves. The
Okay.
second cover, that book was, calling Unveiled Pieces of a Broken Mask. So I needed the pieces to fall off the face so that
Mm.
people can understand that you're breaking these pieces off you, that you will not and have to not carry those anymore.
I tell you what, you are absolutely correct because we do read with our eyes. Because your covers captured me, and I was like, oh my gosh, she is saying so much. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, me, I was born and raised in Cross, South Carolina. I got my BA at Moorish College in Sumter, South Carolina. I've moved to New York in 2003, and I've been here since. I live in Troy, New York now. I have two beautiful girls, which is Liana and Samira. They are 9 and 10. I'm a big advocate now for domestic violence and chronic illness. I also, as you know, I'm a two-time author. I'm a blog. I also write for a magazine called Blessing. I do three different podcasts. I do one called The Rundown. I do one on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Feel Good Talk called Words of the Heart at 9 a.m. And then I also just started this year in 2021. I also do Walking in Your Victory once a month on the 20th on Inspiring Magazine's platform.
So listen, I'm all into this mask book because when I'm looking at the first book, and I know you did the sequel, it could be a third one the way you going. You're not finished saying everything. God has, given you all of the revelation that you have to release for those of us who need it. So the mask behind the mask, we're talking about transparency. One word came to mind. We have to be transparent because of some of the things that we go through. We have to be transparent. We taking tests for other people. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Like I had to learn how to take my mask off before I tell anybody else that they had one on.
Okay.
Like I went through the domestic violence. That's kind of how it first started with me dealing with domestic violence and me finding out that I had three different conditions that I deal with, then me going back to domestic violence again. So it's like, all right, Sheena, you went down this road. So evidently you dealing with these cards for some reason. So I had to learn that I was a vessel for someone else and not complain about what my trials were, but to use it to heal other people.
Absolutely. So, in other words, you had to take your mask off and learn to embrace being transparent of
Yes.
the imperfections so
Yeah,
somebody else would understand you're not the only one going through this.
absolutely.
But also, I'm thinking one other word came because when you start talking about unveiling the pieces and of the broken mask and the different, oh, that cover, oh my gosh. So to me, when I looked at that, I'm thinking in terms, this book is for deliverance.
Yes. This is the book that helps you break down the hurt, the fears, the baggage, the insecurities that we all carry. It teaches you and give you the guidance that we've all been through something and you don't have to continue to carry that baggage with you forever and ever. You have to be able to be ready to heal and do the work.
But you know what? This is good. Let me tell you why. Because everybody not go get delivered behind the four walls.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to receive deliverance from the man or woman of God because a lot of people, they have trust issues.
Mhm.
They have, like you said, transparency issues. They don't want you to go but so deep.
Mm-hmm.
And so God, in his awesomeness, has given you the revelation to write the book. People can get delivered from reading your book.
Absolutely. And that's the goal. Like my hashtag for 2021 is you deserve to heal. So, my message is you deserve to heal. You have to make a decision to do the work to heal. And take those steps. So I give you different things in the book to where I break down insecurity, I break down baggages, I break down about you embracing your own self. Because once you embrace yourself and learn yourself and understand some things, then that's when you definitely can love all the imperfections of who you are.
This is good. And you know what? And that book will bring people, the deliverance will bring them to a point of rest,
Mm-hmm.
trusting in God for
Mm-hmm.
the deliverance so that they can enter into the fullness of his promises.
Absolutely.
Because these things that you're talking about are hindrances from us
Yeah.
being in what God wants us to be.
Yeah, I call it the barriers that people carry, and they be the reason why they can't succeed or why they can't move on for stuff, and they get stuck and this, oh my God, oh, it's me. And, not to say we're not victims, but sometimes we have to take accountability for what has going on in our lives. And
Mhm.
accountability is a hard thing for people. They rather place the blame on others than to keep it honest with themselves that really some of this is on us. Like we allowed certain things in our lives. We settled for certain things. We got comfortable. And my message to a lot of people is that you got to get uncomfortable to be successful. You got to get uncomfortable to be comfortable to then be successful, to move to a better version of yourself.
I like that. Because some people don't understand that a message of the gospel, of the truth, can be communicated another way besides the pulpit.
Yep.
Everybody don't need a microphone. Some of
And
I love it. I love it. Some of us just need a pen and a piece of paper, girl.
yes, absolutely. And I use my pen and paper as a way to, just help people understand that the walk ain't gonna be easy, but you can do it. And I'm a walking testimony about it. So I'll be transparent for y'all to understand that, we've all been through some things, but that doesn't have to be your final destination to your mission, to your, to who you are. You only stay stuck if you choose to stay stuck.
Amen. So listen, when God gave you this revelation for you to put it on paper, okay, and you picked up the pen, how hard was it for you to start writing these books?
Um, it wasn't hard because I think once I had already understand what my purpose was, once I, took the time to go deep inside who I was, because all right, let's take it back for a second. Now, the first time I encountered domestic violence was in 2011. And I found out about my diseases that I carried 2013, 14, and 15. Then I encountered domestic violence again in 2016. So my revelation came in 2017. And in the midst of all this, I was writing this poetry because that's how I tend to, how I say, elaborate this. That's how I spoke. I wasn't telling anybody what was going on. So it was quite easy. When I was in pain, I wrote. When I felt some sort of way, I wrote. So that was my embracing my sanity of keeping me together, plus my spiritual healing that I still was dealing with too.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went through therapy, it then helped me understand that I had reasons why these people were around me. I was allowing some things. I was allowing people to be around me. I was allowing them in my peaceful space. So I had to come to terms with what was my peace and what did I want around me and what did I want to allow and how did
That's
I
good.
want to create my tools and my boxes for me and my peace and my understanding, my spiritual healing and, my mind, my body, and my soul. And once I came to that vessel of knowing who I am and knowing what my purpose was, it was easy to write it because I learned how to sit and listen. I learned how to understand what I was going through wasn't for me. And it wasn't for me to feel that, oh, I had all this that I'm dealing with. It was for me to understand that I needed to send this message somewhere else. Somebody
Yes.
else needed to hear what I was dealing with. So I had to go through it to be able to feed it to them, for them to then understand that, we all went through this, but it ain't what you didn't go through it because it was meant for you. You went through it because it was meant for you to give the message to someone else to help them not go through what you've been through.
So your pen became your voice.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Listen, so let me ask you a question. I know we're dealing with these books in terms of deliverance and transparency. Now, would you, and as far as inspiration, do you think God would send you in another direction, maybe another genre to write a novel?
Yeah, he's already gave me the title of a couple of other genres that's not gonna be poetry. I've already got it on the list. I already got the title. It's there, but my mission, I have to finish the trilogy. It is another book of this coming out. It's one more part to it. And once the trilogy is done, I have another 2 books that I have to deliver after that as well. And he also has sent me in the production way too, because just during COVID, I produced a documentary with this lady. Her name is Veronica G, which she goes by Vera G. And I produced a documentary film, which is called Through Your Eyes. And it was basically where we gave the platform for other people that went through domestic violence, men and women. And I also have my daughter in it, for them to get the education, the empowerment, and inspiring of what people really go through and how they go through their transformation of domestic violence and how they get to their next steps. And that's where kind of, a lot of my things start going, because now I actually just did a piece on somebody's album. Did a spoken word piece, and it's they're called the Office Boys, and the name of the song was called Deuces. And in that song, I basically was talking about how, you say deuces to the different things that you're not going to allow in your space, and how, you're not going to be with anybody that's not going to appreciate you. So I've been sent in a few different doors he's had open in different directions besides writing now, so I'm honored to be that vessel.
It's awesome. You are an awesome vessel of God. So listen, I'm gonna ask a question because I'm one that writes differently. What I mean by that is when I'm doing a novel or stories like my children's book, I'll just be straight on the computer because I can hear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing an inspiration article or something that I call the pen of a ready writer, which is a word from God. I use longhand. And so recently, I mean, I'm writing in a legal pad. So recently I had an attack in my right hand from the enemy. And God had given me a word. It was written. He gave me that on New Year's Eve. And my hand had swollen up. Little finger couldn't bend them. I couldn't hardly hold a pen to write a check for church, nothing.
Yeah.
What I did was, when he gave me that article, it is written, and it was on a Saturday like this, New Year's Eve, I was like, you know what? I'm going to peck this out. I normally don't peck it out, but to the computer, I was not going to let the devil hinder me. And girl, I got up there, if you're a typist, we know ASDFJ.
Yeah.
I was on the left hand was good, and I was pecking with one finger in the left hand. I typed that article. You hear me?
Absolutely.
It is written what God has already said about me in his book of life. Glory to God. Oh, I'm getting caught up. So, how do you balance? What do you use?
I do both. I do a lot of times I write, and I also do the typing as method. And, it's funny that you talk about how the devil interferes, because right now I just had surgery on my hand because I had a cyst that I had to get removed. But in the midst of that, what I did was I pre-wrote a lot of things before I got into it. But what I do now is, if the message come in the midst of it, like you said, I peck it, or I use a voice recorder and I record it so that I then can write it later.
Yes.
So I found other ways of methods of doing what I need to do in the spaces that you was trying to stop me. I'm still getting the message out.
I know that's right, girl. What'd you say? We peck it out.
Yes, absolutely.
So listen, we're coming down to about the end of the interview. What advice would you give for anybody who's inspiring to be an author?
My message to them is definitely don't be afraid. Don't let the fact is, like, a lot of times we stop because we're fear of judgment or our work not being well. My message to them is that it's your story and nobody else can tell it for you. So in order for it to be out there, your message you need to deliver, you just have to write it. Get it out of your head, put it on that paper or put it in that computer and just print it. like I said, they need your message. Your message is needed, and nobody else can tell that story.
I like that. It's your story. I like the way you said that, Shana, because you know what? I like the fact that your pen is your voice. That was good for me.
Yes,
One of
absolutely.
the things I like to ask people, if you had to describe yourself in one word, what would that one word be?
I would definitely see determined.
Good. You want to elaborate, or you just going to leave it like that?
I would say determined because I was determined not to quit. I didn't want to
Okay.
give up, and I couldn't let the enemy win. Like they was battling me back before then, and I was determined to not let the devil beat me and me be greater than my situation.
I like that. But you know what? I'm still on two things that came out. Um, we go peck that out. I like that. I like that. And your pen is your voice. That
Yes.
sent me into another place today in talking with you and sharing. So listen, tell the people how they can find your book, where they can get in touch with you. If you want to be on a conference call or a conference, just give us information, your email, your website.
All right. You can find me at my website, which is www.theladybehindthemask.com. You can find me on Instagram at testimony_for_life. You can find me at Shana Gourdine author on Facebook. You can find me at Sheena Amassing Motivation on Facebook. You can find me at The Rundown Show, Feel Good Talk, and my email is escadine16@gmail.com. And my books are all on both on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or all the platforms. And if you want to get the Kindle or the paperback, they are all available.
Amen. Shout out to my homegirl, Shana Gourdine. She's from South Carolina, y'all.
Yes, I am born and
Yes, she
raised.
is. We just like to thank our listeners today, and we encourage you to get these books, because they deal with deliverance, transparency, and imperfections, which many of us have. I am Becky DeWitt, and this has been The Ready Writers, where words are the opportunity to create a possibility, and we are authors who go global beyond borders. Thank you.